Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jeff and I have been reselling on eBay since 2011, full-time since 2014. I am a survivor of the reseller apocalypse, and you are too if you are still here. Congratulations. If you're new to the channel, this is where I kind of share my reselling journey. I offer up some insights, experiences that I've had, conversations that I have with other resellers around the world, and we talk. We talk and we try to figure out ways to make money in a very difficult environment. What you will not find on this channel is me telling you how to run your business and me telling you what I think you need to do to your business to be successful. I don't store shame here. And, I don't know. I was thinking about this right before I went live. I mean, I don't really know as if I've ever said you have to do this to be successful, because I think there are so many different ways that you can. I won't say that analogy. That's not very nice to cats, but there's so many different ways that you can make money in reselling when eBay actually shows your items. And we're going to get to that. I know that we're going to do, I don't have a format tonight. It's more free flow. I've got thoughts. I've got notes. We're going to take some comments, and yeah, we'll see where this goes. But first, I have a story to tell you. Because this is my channel, I can talk about whatever I want. That's the beauty of it. And okay, it involves my dad. So let me give you some perspective. I'm going to show you a picture of my dad. He is a character, let me tell you. That's my dad. That's my future right there. Anyhow, he is what? He's 71 now, and he's kind of caring. Well, not kind of. He's caring for my grandmother, who she's 91, and she still lives alone. But my dad's been helping her a lot, and so I called my dad last night, and so he lives like a stone's throw from her place, like literally, it's just the way it is back in Pennsylvania. But so I called him last night because I was talking. I wanted to get a recipe or something about one of my grandmother who had passed years ago. And so somehow my dad has a cat, or had a cat, and he told me that he thought it was let out and it never came back. Turns out it was gone for a month, and he was reunited with it. Somebody had put an ad up. My cousin saw it. He went and got the cat. And he was telling me this story, how a couple nights ago, he let the cat in, and the cat was kind of like, had its back to my dad, and it was like cowering. So my dad thought it was sick. And they're at my grandmother's house, not his house. And he looked, and the cat had brought a chipmunk into the house. And so the cat dropped the chipmunk took off. It was alive. And at this point, my dad's like, didn't want to startle my grandma. And so he just kind of, he looked, he thought it went in the bedroom. He shut the door, and then he was getting ready to, trying to think of how the story went. He was trying to think about how to catch this, and then it got out of the bedroom because there was a pretty good gap beneath the door. So at this point, he didn't know where it was, went into the living room, didn't say anything to my grandma, and then he sees it in the hallway, and then it runs into the other bedroom. So he shuts the door, and there is no gap on that one. So he goes out and he tells my grandma, he's like, I don't want to startle you. He's like, but there's a chipmunk in the house. It's in the bedroom. I'm going to go try and get it. And my 91-year-old grandma says, well, do you want me to help you? So he's not going to say no to his mom. So picture this. My 71-year-old dad, my 91-year-old grandma, in a bedroom in Pennsylvania trying to catch a chipmunk. When he told me this story, when he got to this point, I'm dying laughing because I'm immediately remembering a viral internet video. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it. I'm sure some of you have. So if you Google "get him dairy" with a D, and then after the word dairy, bat, it's this comical video of this old dude and his son is filming him in the kitchen. It's in Ireland, and the son is narrating his dad's trying to catch this bat. And it was just, I mean, I'm picturing this as my dad's telling the story. Eventually, he corners it behind a dresser, and he just picks it up. Like, it didn't have anywhere to go, and I'm like, weren't you afraid of it biting you? And he was like, it didn't. So anyhow, no chipmunks were harmed in this story, but I mean, I'm just like, oh my goodness, Dad. I thought it was pretty hilarious. I wanted to share it with you guys. All right, first off, I want to talk a little bit about what happened to Polish Pete in the video that he did the other day, where he was talking about how his sales just completely died because of a series of unfortunate events, many of which had nothing to do with his control. And if you haven't watched the video, he got a neutral for something he admittedly missed in the listing. He offers free returns on his store, and the seller was just seemed like they were more interested in leaving a neutral feedback than actually trying to solve the problem. And then there were some issues with, and this is where I start to have problems with when I see fellow sellers, because we just like Primo and Spam say, we are all coworkers in this umbrella reseller environment that we're in. And when I see things happening to other sellers that I see injustice, it needs to be fixed. And what I'm talking about is, so apparently there were some issues with the post over there where he's at, and items ended up being late or scanned late, and he got like 7 late delivery dings on his account. He ended up getting 5 of them fixed, but it wasn't done timely. And then there was something else. It was the post, and then eBay not removing the dings fast enough, and so his sales suffered. It suffered significantly. Now, in what world should resellers be held accountable and punished for post office? Like, we have no control over that. I don't know what eBay stands to gain by punishing sellers and having the algorithm, whatever the algorithm does at that point. But, he clearly was seeing a massive decline in sales. I just got to call that out. eBay, you need to be better. You need to be better about protecting sellers. You gain nothing by punishing sellers when we have no control over events like that, and then taking your time to fix something that should be instantaneous. It shouldn't even be once the tracking number is uploaded on time. We should never be dinged beyond that. That's just my thoughts. Let me know in the comment section if you think that that's an improper way to think. All right, next topic I want to touch upon is an article that Patricia, shout out to Patricia for sending this to me, and it's Amazon hides cheaper items with faster delivery. Lawsuit alleges hundreds of millions of Amazon U.S. customers have overpaid, class action says. Now, we talked about Amazon a few videos back and their shady practices that they've done, and how it looks like eBay's trying to adopt some of those same practices with the promoted listings, the eBay mafia. Algorithms are our enemy. going into the future. In my opinion, they are not our friends. They are out. The algorithm is out there to make the companies as much money in the most cutthroat way possible. And it's my belief that because algorithms seem to be here to stay, that the only protection that we have as resellers, as content creators, as anybody who makes money online on any website where an algorithm, whether it be YouTube, eBay, Amazon, whatever, algorithms are not our friend. So I'm going to read a little bit of this. Amazon rigged its platform to routinely push an overwhelming majority of customers to pay more for items that could have been purchased at lower cost with equal or faster delivery times, a class action lawsuit has alleged. It claims that the biased algorithm drives Amazon's buy box, which appears on the items page and prompts shoppers to buy now or add to cart. According to customers suing, nearly 98% of the Amazon sales of items featured in the buy box because customers allegedly reasonably believed that featured items offered the best deal on the platform, but they are often wrong, the complaint said. Amazon features items from its own retailers and sellers that participate in fulfillment by Amazon FBA, both of which pay Amazon higher fees and gains secret perks like appearing in the buy box. The result is that customers routinely overpay for items that are available at lower prices from other sellers on Amazon, not because consumers don't care about price or because they're making informed purchasing decisions, but because Amazon has chosen to display the offers for which it will earn the highest fees, the complaint said. I have an Amazon story that it's been a while, and I'm hoping I remember it correctly, but the gist of it was we had to have some body work done on our vehicle, and this was years ago. This was probably 7 or 8 years ago. And we got to talking to the owner of the body shop, and I think eBay might have came up. And he was talking about how his brother-in-law used to sell on Amazon, and he sold a lot. Like, I mean, he was doing like, I want to say like 50,000 a month, and it was going up. Like, I don't remember what the product was, but whatever it was FBA. Amazon had it. And yeah, now something happened, and the way, this is why Amazon is so shady, is, and this is coming from this guy telling a story, is Amazon, you know, you're selling on their platform, and then they have all this information, they have access to all this data, and they see your earnings going up, and they find, and sometimes they'll see what you're selling, and then they'll go out there and then they'll find a way to undercut and then turn around and sell that same product on their platform, knowing that you've already done the work, that reseller has already done the work, created this product, or discovered this product, figured out that there's a market for it. And then Amazon sees it, and then they'll go out there and they'll source in some capacity. But that's not even what happened in this story. What happened was they straight up lost his inventory, and he never got it back. That's the whole story. All I know is that the guy was saying that his brother-in-law basically, like, somehow Amazon said, and they never compensated him for it. So I don't really understand the point of me wanting to tell the story, but it's a personal experience that I had that always stuck in the back of my head as to how shady it was, and why I would never want to do FBA. I would never want my product to be somewhere else and in someone else's hands. But that's just me. So what did I want to say here? I was talking back and forth with Patricia offline, and she's doing some research on algos and how they hurt buyers and sellers. So it's not that they're not just bad for sellers, in my opinion. Obviously, they're bad for buyers. But she said that the key, this is Patricia's words, and I hope it's okay that I'm using these words, because it's a key point. The key with this new lawsuit is its angle on consumer protection. Lawmakers and regulators aren't interested in protecting sellers, but they take consumer inquiries quite seriously. Now, question for the audience. Do you think it's reasonable to think that eBay could be potentially directing traffic away from people who don't promote, or promote as high as they want? Because the bottom line is eBay took away 50% of our traffic, which translates into views, which translates into sales in April. They did that. That's a fact. They did it by introducing the new search. I'm drawing a blank on what it's called. The new search and promoted listings, and they did so in a way that was very deceptive, because we as sellers, we had an understanding where we do our job. We go out there, we source, we list stuff. eBay finds us buyers. They don't find us buyers, okay? People have been like, oh, they don't find you buyers, but they allow your inventory to be seen. Let me tell you another example. A couple days ago, maybe 4 or 5 days ago, I listed some First Nations books, and I listed them on eBay, and I've listed them locally, and I've not had any interest on eBay. But surprisingly, within a couple days, I had 2 different people. I had one person locally on Marketplace asking me about a book. Now, they were kind of lowballing me. And then I had somebody from Nova Scotia who somehow found my ad on Marketplace asking me about, this one was a pottery book. So I find it fascinating that when you have a platform that truly search works, it's amazing that people can actually find your items. But the search similarity vector search BS, whatever it's called, when you search for things, you get you get some, but then you get completely unrelated things. And it's like that when you're trying to comp. Like I'm constantly trying to comp, and I'm not getting anything, or it's like it's buried. It's completely buried at the bottom of the and it makes it really hard to really know what the value of something is when you're looking at sold and it's not even giving you what you're looking for. It's not even giving you the same item, let alone if you want to break it down, I've talked about this in the past before. You look up a visor, you get a bunch of hats, you get shirts, you don't get what you're looking for. And this is a massive problem. I'm going to be all over the place in this video because I've got like a zillion things. I've watched some videos out there over the last couple days. Okay. People talk about high sell-through rates. People talk about YouTubers who are also resellers, people who are considered influencers. They preach that you can't sell unique items. You have to sell high sell-through rate. Think about this for a minute. If everybody started selling high sell-through rates, right? What would the site become? It would be a cookie cutter website of all the same stuff that have perceived high sell-through rate. And then what would happen? Like, so people will stop selling unique, what do I got here? Unique, like a patch, or I don't know, like things that I sell, one-offs. Buttons, pins, comics, just unique stuff, artifacts. People will stop selling these things on eBay because they're not being shown, and when they're not being shown, when you get an offer, you feel like you have to take it. And it could be 20, 30, 40% of what, or more of what you're asking. And people will stop listing these items on eBay because they're not getting what they expected to get. And when you factor in sourcing, how sourcing has gone up, we don't have the margins. We don't have the margins that we did. So people will be taking these items off of eBay, and eBay has that is a missed opportunity to earn that commission from eBay. So everyone's listing high sell-through rate stuff on eBay. What will happen is people will start undercutting people, and that high sell-through rate, that high sell-through rate stuff will start to come down in price. And eBay will, at that point, they will have already lost a lot of valuable resellers who are finding other places to sell their stuff. And this kind of, this, I'm not going to talk about the concept of Enshittification. Primo talked about it the other day. I want to do a little bit more research on it. If you are not familiar with what that is, I'm going to give you a quick, it's a fascinating concept. It's the pattern of decreasing quality of online platforms that function as two-sided markets. Let me give you a couple quick examples. So I have a couple things I want to read to you, and basically in a nutshell, but I do want to do some more research on this because I think there's something there. It's basically how platforms treat users very, very well in the beginning, and then they go through a growth curve, and then at the end, when things are starting to fall apart, everything is about profits. Everything's about squeezing every last dime out of it, and so this particular the person who created this, I think it was in 2023, or it was apparently the American Dialect Society said it was the word of the year for 2023. I don't know when it was, but it is the theory explaining how the internet was colonized by platforms, why all those platforms are degrading so quickly and thoroughly, why it matters, and what we can do about it. We're all living through a great enshittening in which the services that matter to us that we rely on are turning into giant piles of crap. It's frustrating, it's demoralizing, it's even terrifying. And it's true, it's 100% true. Like, I never even gave one thought to eBay's algorithm prior to April. I can't remember if I've already said this in this video, because I have a lot of thoughts going on in my head. I never knew it was called Cassini. I never knew there was a Krylov. I never knew anything about a vector similarity search. I didn't care. I didn't care to know any of that stuff. And then I also found a message board somewhere, and there's a I'm going to read another something that I thought was pretty good. eBay will never be a second Amazon. Crappier Amazon, sure. And that's not that hard considering what's happening to Amazon lately. This particular comment was on October 25th, 2023. Just the traffic eBay drives is a fraction of Amazon. And yet eBay wants to try to charge Amazon type fees, but they don't offer the same benefits, which is preposterous in this day and age when the slowing economy, sourcing is ridiculously more expensive than it was 2 years ago, way more expensive than it was 5-6 years ago. We only have so much margins. Amazon is really sucking people in with their Prime memberships covering shipping costs, but there is no magic. They have to cover that cost somewhere. So they probably have algorithms to suggest higher margin products to make up the shipping costs or squeeze vendors. It's interesting that this person said this because that's exactly what the lawsuit that is happening. It's almost like this guy, I don't know how long the lawsuit's been around, but it's true. Like the Enshittification is like how Amazon basically went years and years and years losing money, knowing that it sucks in the buyers, and then I don't know at what point Amazon opened up their platform to allow third-party sellers to sell on their platform. I think they said, 60 or 65% of the items that you purchase on Amazon are basically from people just like you and me who sell on eBay. It's brilliant on their part. Side note, I was thinking about this the other day. No, I'm not even going to share that. It's I can already hear the reaction to it. Anyhow, so eBay, Amazon went years and years and years losing money, knowing that they were bringing in these people, getting them sucked into their platform, becoming regular users, and basically trapping people. That's the part of that's the feel good part of the Enshittification where you get sucked in. People who have that, I don't know what the number would be. If you have 1,000 items listed on eBay and you've looked at this last year and you're like, you know what? I've only got 1,000 items on eBay. I know a lot of people are packing up ship. We're done. We're done dealing with these games. I mean, I'm getting to the point where I'm quite fed up with the games, with the traffic games, with the promoted listing games, with the fee this, fee that. Oh, we want to talk to you. We want to talk to you about, these new promoted listing things that we have coming out. We want to hear your thoughts on that. eBay, we don't want to hear about any, I'm not speaking for you guys. I don't want to hear about any more ways that you're going to make money off of us. What are you doing for the sellers? Like, maybe I should be talking shareholders of eBay. Maybe you should be asking, what is eBay doing to ensure the longevity and the growth of eBay? What is eBay doing? Because the way it looks is they see the ship is going down, right? They see the ship is going down and they're just, they're trying to squeeze sellers for as much as they can. That's the whole concept of Enshittification. 101. That's the introductory class of that concept. And all businesses run through a course. Some fail, some adapt and go on and continue on. I still believe in my heart eBay has an opportunity to right the ship. They still have brand recognition. Although they're losing brand recognition every single year that goes by that they don't advertise. All the people my age and older who know eBay, we know eBay. But people who are 16, 17 now, they're going to be 18, they're going to be 19. They don't know eBay. They don't know that you can buy what you can buy on eBay. They need to be advertised to. And not the kind of advertisements that you're trying to get sellers to tap into our social networks to advertise for free. That's not the kind of advertisements that's going to bring in new buyers. It's going to bring in new buyers, which will cause more sellers to appear. Demand Demand influences supply. If you have a platform where there is a demand, you're going to bring in more sellers, which is going to bring in more buyers. These are the things that the shareholder should be demanding to see actions that are going in the right direction, not a sinking stock price ever since current management has taken over. That is the only barometer that we have to know whether or not current management is doing the things that it needs to do for the company. I get you got to have profits, but you have to have sustainable profits. You have to have symbiotic relationships with the sellers. If without a seller, there is no buyer. This is the age-old question: the chicken or the egg, seller or the buyer? The seller came first. Every version, every alternate reality where there's an eBay, one seller had to put an item up for sale before a buyer could come along and buy it. Think about that. Think about treating sellers in a way. Think about showing some respect to sellers and maybe communicating with us. Don't say you want to communicate with us, but actually communicate with us. Let us know. What do we have to do to get back the 50% of the sales that you took away from us in April? And it isn't promoted listings, because I'll tell you what, James over at My Boring Reseller Life has basically done every experiment that you can possibly do that will show you, no matter how high you promote, you're never getting those sales back. Back to this article. Let me see where I'm at. Amazon it crap too, which is crazy mess on search results last while, as well as pricing issues. Looks to me like there's some court action. Oh, so maybe he did. Maybe that's been going on for a while. Looks to me like some court actions about pricing issues on the platform. But anyhow, with this Prime method, Amazon has managed to corner a lot of traffic and revenue, and eBay has been bleeding to Amazon for years. By marketplace size traffic, eBay is getting slaughtered. I have to say, for those who were on it back in the day and have seen what happens, there is some satisfaction to what's happening to them. I don't feel satisfaction for what's going on with eBay. I feel resentment for what they're doing to a perfectly good platform that worked prior to April 1st. It worked fine. Yes, there were glitches, but there weren't 10-month-long glitches after glitches and sales throttling, traffic throttling, endless fees. Like, it's almost like they're trying to trash the platform, right? Like, I think I've said this before. It seems like everything they're doing is if you looked at it from a common sense perspective, the tax point you make, what's really irritating is how they themselves escape taxation through strategy and geography while pacifying political uproar. Okay, I didn't read all of this. Quality of sellers is an issue. eBay really is a perfect example of enshittification, but it is far from the only example. I really feel it is broadly applicable. It is a broadly applicable phenomenon with the internet lately. Netflix with ads. Just the other day, just literally yesterday, my wife and I, we were watching Amazon, and they never used to have ads in the middle of shows. And I was just like, oh, this is new. It's just the platforms that we spend our time on, take a look at them. Are they getting better or worse? I feel like once they have you trapped. So let me go back to them. I don't know if I had finished this thought. I said I was going to be all over the place. I warned you if you're still here. What's that number? 1,000 listings, 2,000 listings? If you have 4,000 listings, you're pretty much trapped on a platform, and eBay knew that. They knew that when they made this shift. They knew that sellers would have to pay these higher fees. Now, I'm the kind of person that if I feel like I'm being taken advantage of, which at this point I do feel like how can you not feel like you're being taken advantage of as a reseller on eBay with the things that are going on? Like, if eBay is having problems, like there's a couple schools of thought. They made some changes and they don't know how to fix them. That's one thing. But not communicating to sellers on some capacity, still not cool, still not acceptable. These are people's lives. These are people's lives, and people who have spent 5, 10, 20 years developing an eBay store only to have the rug pulled out from underneath them. We're not just numbers. We're not just data. And I think that's the most frustrating point. So me feeling that they knew we would be stuck, that really makes me feel that I need to take action. And the action that I'm taking, again, is I'm listing a lot more things on other platforms. And I'm seeing, inquiries, sales of things that I never would have listed outside of eBay. Yeah. Just he basically just goes on to say streaming services. He's talking about more different examples of this concept. Streaming services, price increases. With Netflix, I'm actually quite close to just canceling my Netflix. Really, if it was just me, I'd have been done with them probably 2 price increases ago. But because Maria and the kids and it's just, there's something to be said for grandfathering in prices, and that's the better way to go about it. Paid Facebook, just piles and piles of nonsense, all about showing us more and more ads. Is anyone ever really paying attention to that stuff? Seems like a massive waste of marketing dollars to me, to be perfectly honest. I'm gonna pause this. I'm gonna find a comment that I'm gonna read. Hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna read a comment on the channel on the last video from UW Supergirl. Thanks for this comment. I mean, this was a long thought out comment, and then she added some more. And what made me think about this was about the ads. I, for one, when I'm listening to the radio and an ad comes on, I flip the channel immediately. I intentionally tune out any ads, and they're becoming more and more and more prominent everywhere. I mean, just look at your listings. Just look at your listing pages, all the ads that are on there. That is, again, a perfect example of the deterioration of the site. There doesn't need to be that many ads on when we're trying to sell something of our own, to have all these different levels and sides, banners, blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, I want to get to this comment. Sales are slow. I always say though that eBay doesn't care if you sell. People say, why? That makes no sense. Well, how many sellers have stores? Is it 7 million or is it less? If 7 million of us pay them $50 a month, they make over 350 million a month. Yes, we get a shipping supplies coupon, so take that off for the people who actually use it. But doesn't it also cost them money when we sell items with the infrastructure needed at this point just to pay sales taxes to 50 states? I used to pay sales tax on a small crafting business in my state, and it was a pain. So I see that as an expense for them. That means they pay for us to sell to. So is there really an incentive for them to help us sell piddly stuff? Also, with the sheer volume of sellers, maybe there's just too much stuff on the servers. I know people were talking about, over the summer, we're talking about how there's so many items that are on eBay, there's so many sellers that are on eBay, and that eBay, these were all just theories, conspiracy theories, but this is all we have to do is just sit around all day watch our slow impressions and page views and wait for a cha-ching, you know, and then our minds just start going. But we were talking, some people were saying that eBay wants to get a lot of these small, lower priced items off the platform because they're just taking up server space. And then some people are speculating that eBay shuts down servers in certain geographical areas to comply with, you know, green initiatives. I mean, like, if you think about all the things we speculated on over the summer, it is insane. But that's where we were. We were scared. We were freaking out. And I'm feeling like people that I'm talking to, it really feels like this January 1st, whatever, you know, whether it was the fact that all those Google offsite ads expired, and eBay is basically, you know, throttling people even more, something feels off. You've got some big YouTubers out there. Bo Johnson, by the end of the year, he's done with eBay. That dude was making a killing on eBay. You got Josh Galt, who a few videos ago was contemplating packing it up and maybe getting a job because, you know, he can't rely on eBay. The inconsistent sales. So many people I talk to, including myself, you cannot run a business with the inconsistent sales that we are getting with eBay. And it's not, there's slow sales, and then there's sales deserts. You know, 7 items in one day, 0 items the next, 1 item the next, 13 items in a day, 2 items the next. This is not normal. This is not how people can sustain businesses. And Josh is the kind of worker that eBay should want. eBay should want to reward people who put in the time. You know, list items, list a lot of items, unique items. He's got a good work ethic. He goes back. He was doing promoted, advanced. I mean, I don't know exactly what he was doing, but I mean, he's the kind of reseller that should not be having the issues that he was having in December and January, or whenever he said he was having issues. But he was basically contemplating, and who knows, you know, it's like we can get a week of good sales and then we start to get hopeful. And there were a couple others. I mean, there were a couple others that I thought of that like bigger YouTubers that are just, you know, done, just packing it up or severely cross-listing. And these are the kinds of things that are hurting the platform. People, who was it? Oh, it was another big YouTuber reseller. I don't know, you guys out there, you know, we don't all watch the same thing. What other YouTubers out there, in the comment section below, what other YouTubers that you watch who, I mean, James was at My Boring Reseller Life, he was extremely resistant. Sorry, my battery just he was extremely resistant to cross-listing. He didn't want anything to do with that. eBay forced him to do that. That's gonna really bug me. Anyhow, so I went off onto another tangent. Yeah, we're getting back to this comment in a big red banner today on the app. So this is back to Supergirl. This is what made me think of it when the previous forum comment that I read was talking about how ads are everywhere. In a big red banner today on the app, eBay's advertising free local tire installation. Says I can choose from the top brands and select installer near me. Get the coupon. Then there's a long, boring list of terms of conditions. It says to buy the new tires on the site, and oddly, it says you can use this coupon a max of 99 redemptions per user. Very odd. Who is going to use this coupon multiple times? Like, I bought tires last year, and maybe that's on me, but the last place I thought to look for tires was on eBay. I Googled it, and they didn't even come up. Also, every place I looked at offered free installation, so it's sort of a meh offer. Maybe this isn't common with eBay, but for other tire shops, they run the deal all the time. Free installation, rotations, and disposal of old tires is pretty much standard around here. So it's not even a deal. It just seems like some odd person is focusing on aspects of eBay, like motors, and thinks that the rest of us can go scratch. eBay was built on being a site for piddly little stuff. That's what I get from eBay myself when I'm buying missing parts for something I need. Stuff for my dollhouses or collections. I'm not on eBay looking for $200 sneakers, new tires, or a $400 purse. Of course, with my sales down 30% in 2023 over last year, I couldn't afford some of these things even if I wanted them. And then she's like, I'm just wondering if they care about our listings at all. As long as they get their store fees, there's a passive income right there. I'm posting that they may, I'm not sure if this, I think I'm positive that they may be banking more on the store fees than fees they make from actual sales. I mean, I don't know if I completely agree with that, but definitely that recurring, that store fee. I know one particular person who canceled his store fee. He canceled one of his stores, and eBay was calling him and asking him, why? What's going on? Why are you canceling your store after however long he had it? There was an anecdote on a seller's page today about how they just started on eBay a little over a year ago, have been doing well, opened a store, and their sales dried up. I can prove it. It can seem counterintuitive because I really don't know what it costs eBay to process actual sales or to host all those items on servers and get them seen. I am not a person who tends to lean into conspiracies. However, I am just wondering how much it really matters to them to make the $3,000 off my fees. How much do they pay in terms of overhead, work to submit taxes, etc., when they collect fees on sold items versus just getting store fees? Now, gross merchandise values totals are extremely important, but it does seem that eBay is clearly more focused on their promoted listings, since it's the highest percentage, growing aspect of their business. And we got earnings coming out in about 10 days. So we're going to see just how big of a jump promoted listings has had this month. And it's, I personally, I think eBay is the biggest short right now. And it's only because, normally I just look at technicals, but because I'm so embedded into the eBay, the website, seeing what's going on, being a user of the site, seeing the problems, hearing all the stories from you guys and people that I connect with offline, I just don't see how they can manipulate the numbers in a positive light that investors are going to feel confident dumping more money into their the stock. In fact, I feel like investors are going to start taking the money out of the stock. That's maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. To me, it just seems like one of the most obvious short plays right now until current management is gone, or until Jamie admits that the current plan isn't working. And maybe it is. Maybe I'll be the one looking dumb. Maybe you'll be the one looking dumb if you're in the same boat as me. But I know it's not just me. It's not just my store that is experiencing unusual, inconsistent sales patterns. I want to circle back to something I talked about earlier in this video. when I was talking about how eBay is, and we don't know this about high sell-through rate items, but what we do know, what I feel or what I know is that my traffic, people are not finding my items the way they used to. And it's got to be because the search engine is not working right. And Jack and I were having a conversation the other day, and we were talking about, well, he said to me that he was at $85 for the day, and he just feels like that's gonna be it for the rest for that day. That eBay's not like, we all know, or like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like we all make about the same amount that we usually make, plus or minus a little bit. It's like, and we wonder why we think our sales are controlled. And I never prior to April would have ever even thought like that. But why would we even think like that? It doesn't make any sense. But here a lot of us think and feel that if we sell a certain amount, then we're going to be cut off for the rest of the day. That in and of itself should tell anybody looking at this whole situation, let's say a stockholder should look at that and be like, why do so many people think that? Like, if you were a large shareholder of eBay stock and you heard that it felt like sellers' sales were being capped, that would be troubling, because if a seller's sales are capped, then the whole point of the website is to sell stuff. When you sell stuff, when everybody is selling things, that creates more profits. More profits create a higher stock price. So we were having this Jack and I, we were having this conversation about the algorithm and how it's learning. But it's when you have unique items, which is, I can't speak for you guys, but I think that's eBay's strength. I think diversity is eBay's strength. And I think that I have hopes that it will get back to its roots. When I say that I still think that there's hope for a rebirth of eBay, I truly do believe that, and I truly do hope that, but I'm not counting on it. So the algorithm that is learning, Jack had a Chinese record that was extremely valuable. It was very valuable. But the algorithm, if there's none that's been listed in the last 90 days, it doesn't have anything to compare it from. And so it might not put you in a rotation to get traffic, to have the proper buyers be found for that particular item. And again, when you don't have buyers that there was another story I wanted to tell. Let me pause this. Okay, I just remembered the concept of when buyers can't find your items. I have a perfect example of something that I just sold offline on Craigslist. I'll attach it at the end of this video because I took like a small little video and talked about it. I had a Deadpool bust. So just so we're on the same page, this story is directly supports the idea that when you have something that's very valuable and you don't have any buyers to be able to find it, you could end up selling it for far cheaper than what it's worth if you're desperate enough. So anyhow, I had this Deadpool bust. It was like, you'll see it. It was like that big. It was like 30. I don't know. It was like, oh, anyhow, I had it listed on Marketplace for $40. had it listed on Craigslist. Now, the difference between those two platforms in terms of adjusting prices, it's far easier to do it on Craigslist than it is on Marketplace. Marketplace is clunky, and it's laggy, and I just seem to not really adjust my prices on Marketplace. But on Craigslist, I'm pretty active about adjusting my prices. Partly it has to do with how quickly things are able to relist on Facebook, and how you have to do it. There's a little more manual on Craigslist. Get this. I had that bust marked all the way down to $5. I was actually getting ready, possibly during the next cycle when that current listing expired, I was going to probably donate it. Just because it wasn't moving. Somehow, somebody finds it on Craigslist, and they're like, he was super excited, super stoked about it. We ended up settling on 30. He picked it up yesterday, so it sold for 30. And I actually had that listed on eBay as well. I almost forgot. I can't believe that I still had that listed on eBay. I never had any. Actually, I had somebody send me a message about it, saying how they thought it was a 3D printed Deadpool pus. I've had this thing for so long. I think I had it when the last Deadpool movie came out, and Deadpool was way more popular there. It was a buy that I did from a local guy who was kind of like an add-on to it. Like, he was kind of just throwing a bunch of things into a lot, and I picked up a bunch of things. But it just goes to show you, like, if your items aren't being seen, then there can be massive price discrepancies. I was just blown away that the fact that it was $40 on Facebook and it was $5, and it just so happened that buyer didn't see it, that Craigslist ad, and then he saw the Facebook ad. But going back to what Jack was saying, is that unique items will cease to exist on eBay going forward if we maintain the current in my opinion, and Jack and I were pretty much in consensus of this, is if items aren't being seen, people will just not be selling their things on eBay, or they'll cross list. If that's if they want to use one of those listing services and cross list their items, that's definitely an option as well. And it will just, as I mentioned earlier in this video, it'll just create a website. eBay will just be a marketplace of all these high sell-through items that people are listing, and they're only sourcing the same things, and it will be a little bit like a race to the bottom as well. It'll either be a race to the bottom price-wise, or it will be, the promoted listing pyramid scheme. Everyone's promoting at 10%. Only eBay is winning, and then someone's going to go to 11, and then someone's going to go to 12, and it's just like until the person who's promoting the highest isn't making any money, and they decide, this is not profitable anymore, and then it'll start to go the other way. So I'm going to get you caught up on the 5 or 6 things on Maria's store that sold since my last video. And then my plan is tomorrow to create a video and get caught up on my store. So I think you saw this. Yeah, you guys saw that last time. This is a Roy Rogers button. This sold for $23, including shipping. And then he added, I told him he could add anything with no extra shipping, and he added another. So this is a Roy Rogers Post Grape Nuts from 1953 button. And then he added a Dale Evans. I don't even know who Dale Evans. So these two combined, this was like a $42 shipped order. This Love Power button sold for $16, including shipping. This drumstick, I mean, it's just like a bunch of buttons sold. It's so bizarre. This one was $15, including shipping. This Coca-Cola. I accepted an offer. There were two buttons, two pins. I'm sorry. There was a skiing one and a snowboarding pin, and I accepted an offer. I think it would have been 15 shipped, and then this Turtles variant cover sold for $15, including shipping. I accepted an offer, I want to say like for $11, I think it was. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up now. Just some closing thoughts. I think we can all agree that something is off. Right? Like you can go and you can do all the best practices, and you know, I don't ever claim to be the best reseller. You know, I've got good metrics. I've got 100% feedback. I've been doing this a long time, so that's got to count for something. You know, I've seen a lot, but there's people who've been doing it far longer, and like Jack, he's been doing this since '99. And other people as well. And what we're seeing is just unprecedented, glitchy site, weird, inconsistent sales, fees going up out the wazoo in a way that we've never seen, and it seems like it's just getting worse and worse. Things just are rotten in the state of Denmark, in my opinion. And now is not the time for resellers to be acting like we're in high school, right? Like not like taking what other people say, joking about it, you know, playing the good eBay representative and acting like if you just do these things, you know, it's all you. It's all you, the seller, Joe Seller. It's your items. Like, now is not the time to be like that, in my opinion. Like, if it was just me that was coming out here and saying these things, then I would know that I'm the problem. And I made money last year versus the year before, but this year so far, something has dramatically changed from January 1st. Again, things don't change in a day. It isn't that your items suddenly are undesirable. All signs point to it's the platform. There's something going on, and now more than ever, I believe we need to be a little bit more unified as to what is really going on the platform. And why is it going on, and what does eBay want? Like, it would be lovely if they would just tell us what we need to do to get our sales back. So hit me up in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Am I a conspiracy nut job? Let me know your experiences, because until we see and hear from the people that are watching this channel and watching other people's channels, observing other things, other sellers and what they're going on, please again comment who other resellers out there are leaving the platform or drastically cross-listing because eBay has, you know, I know Dixon's Pixins, he's started cross-listing. I don't think that was something he really wanted to do, but there was another big one that, like, I think I had like 3 or 4 off the top of my head and I forgot to write them down. Yeah, guys, I don't like these videos. I really don't. I just want to sell things. I just want to list things. I just want to, you know, talk about my wins, talk about my experiences, and do things that way. I don't like doing these videos at all. They're exhausting. Sometimes I hold off doing them because I know once I start, I go in because I'm passionate about reselling. I'm passionate about the community that we have here, and it really bothers me the things that are going on. If it's not bothering you, I don't know what to say. Like, it's one thing if you're not having any challenges, that's awesome. I know there's some people out there that are just killing it, and they can't even explain what they're doing. I'm looking at you, Biff Boffo. Looking at you. Yeah, guys, take it easy. Have a good Saturday. We will talk to you guys soon. Feed that YouTube algorithm. Do all the things that, I mean, I kind of really don't even like that word algorithm anymore. Maybe I need I don't really like my exit line anyhow. I don't know. I'll figure something out. Anyhow, I'm actually, I think I'm wore out from this thing. Oh, I know. I started going back to the gym yesterday. That's the other thing. You know what? If sales are going to continue to suck, I am getting my butt to the gym. I'm making the gym my priority right now. I've gone 2 days in a row. I plan on going tomorrow. And yeah, I'm done. I'm done prioritizing eBay over my health. There's no point. There's no more. Why should we, right? Like, it's one thing if you're getting the desired results that you feel that you are expected to get when you put in X amount of effort. But when you put in X amount of effort and get crap results, screw that. Those days right now are done until the platform is. I mean, I don't think it'll ever be fixed, and that's okay. Prior to April, we dealt with glitches. There's always going to be glitches, no matter what. There's never going to be a perfect platform. I want eBay to avoid the Enshittification. I want to be with them on that journey. I know it doesn't sound like it, but I am pro eBay. I just don't like the management and what they're doing. And you can like eBay and not like the management. Curious Collection just did a video the other day about two things can be, I forget how, one thing can be true, another can be true or not true, and it's okay. So you can like eBay, but you can dislike the things that they are doing to screw sellers, to mistreat sellers, I'm going to say it. They've deceived sellers. And on some capacity, they've deceived the expectations that we have as users of the platform. I just call it like I see it. Prove me wrong, eBay. I was almost going to say do the right thing. It's not what I meant. It's how I feel. It's not what I meant. But anyhow, guys, I'm done tonight. I'm just going to have a relaxing evening. We'll talk soon. Bye.